Have you ever felt that nervous excitement when everything seems about to change? Well, Dodgers fans, the 2025 season is showing us that even the most prepared teams can face unexpected storms. Between injuries that shake the heart of the fan base, strategic moves that can alter the course of the campaign, and financial decisions that reveal the philosophy behind success, Los Angeles is living through a decisive moment. On this journey, we will explore what's happening behind the scenes, how the loss of a key piece is impacting the pitching mound, an unexpected trade that reveals a team's vision for the future, and that decision that could be the key to balancing investing in stars or reinforcing the foundation. All of this is closer than you think, and the clock is ticking. If you're the kind of fan who never lets go of the team, who gets excited with every piece of news and wants to stay on top of what really matters, go ahead and leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Because here, in the Blue Nation, we know the game isn't over until the last strike. Are you with us? Check out now 3 news stories that will give you chills. News number 1. Los Angeles Dodgers receive bad news about injured Michael Kopech. Have you ever imagined a team built to be almost perfect, but suddenly becomes hostage to a growing list of injured players? That's exactly how the Blue Nation feels today. The Los Angeles Dodgers have just confirmed what nobody wanted to hear. Michael Kopech is out. A pitcher who arrived just over a year ago, bringing that spark of hope back in 2024 when he shined in the World Series. And now he will spend at least 60 days away from a mound due to knee inflammation. And the worst part? It's not just Kopech. It's a symptom of something much bigger. To make room on the roster, management had no choice but to cut an important player from second base. These are tough decisions that show even a roster full of big names is not immune when baseball demands its price. Those watching from the outside may not understand what losing Kopech means. It's more than a statistic, more than an ERA of 1.13 over 24 innings last season. It's losing a symbol of confidence on the mound. A guy who even limited to 7 innings this year, didn't allow a single run. For those who followed every pitch, they know the impact goes far beyond the numbers. And the wound grows deeper when we look at who else is on the injured list. Roki Sasaki, Blake Snell, Tony Gonsolin, Evan Phillips, Buster Gratterall. It's practically an entire respective rotation lining up to try to come back. Meanwhile, on the field, reality hits hard. For the first time since 2019, the Dodgers are enduring 5 straight losses. They were swept by the Houston Astros. They scored only 2 runs the first 2 games against the Brewers. It's as if each absence reflects on the scoreboard, inning after inning. But those who know the Dodgers understand, this team isn't built only in good times. If we look back, big comebacks have often happened precisely when no one believed. The clearest sign that all is not lost is Tyler Glasnow. He makes his first start since April today, returning to face the Brewers right when we need stability the most. And it doesn't stop there. Teoscar Hernandez, Tommy Edman, Blake Trinan, all should be back soon. Ohtani, as always, is the guy holding this hope up. Even in the middle of the storm, he continues to be the MVP the fans dreamed of when he signed. And that's when the question that keeps echoing in the minds of those who wear blue and white hits. Will this be enough? Because the truth is, with the MLB trade deadline approaching, the pressure is in the air. The team's own announcement hints at this. Management may go after another high-leverage pitcher to plug the whole Kopech leave behind. We're not talking about a random rumor. It's in the Dodgers' DNA not to wait for the worst to happen before reacting. This organization has already shown it's willing to invest heavily to keep the dream alive. The cut at second base was not just a technical detail. it was also an opening for something bigger. But until that comes, what remains is fan support, analysis, and expectation. Fans find themselves remembering old reinforcements that arrived to change everything. And this time, what will come? Will Glasnow handle this pressure alone? Will Sasaki and Snell return in time to rebuild this rotation that, in theory, is elite? And what happens to team morale after losing 5 straight games and seeing the injury history repeat like a nightmare? Still, no one here will abandon ship. If there's one thing Dodgers history teaches, it's that October always holds something big for those who don't let go of the team. Ohtani is still there, sending bombs that keep the scoreboard alive. Hernandez and Edman returning already gives the lineup a different look. And Treinen starting rehab is the kind of sign that makes fans believe better days could come sooner than expected. News number 2. Los Angeles Dodgers send Stuart Barroa to the Milwaukee Brewers in a mid-game trade. Have you ever stopped to think how a trade that seems small can carry a clear signal of how an organization thinks and breathes baseball? That's exactly how Dodgers fans received the news on Wednesday afternoon. Stuart Barroa, a 26-year-old outfielder, is on his way to the Milwaukee Brewers. It's a move that might go unnoticed amid the whirlwind of injuries, cuts, and returns swirling around Los Angeles this season. But if we look deeper, it says a lot about what it means to be a Dodger today. To begin with, the timing couldn't be more symbolic. The trade happened while the Dodgers were on the field, facing the Brewers at American Family Field. Barroa was no longer even on the active roster. He had already been designated for assignment last Thursday. His decision was clear. Rather than accept waivers or test free agency, he chose to seek a fresh start. And that start is Milwaukee, a team that also has gaps in the outfield and is opening space to give another chance to a player who, despite all limitations, still has a spark to offer. But what do the numbers say? At first glance, Barroa's trajectory doesn't impress. In the MLB, he made his debut in 2024 with the Toronto Blue Jays, playing 28 games. A batting average of .189, 1 home run, 1 double, 6 stolen bases, 3 defensive runs saved, an OPS of .550, and a WAR of 0.3. Nothing that makes headlines. But here comes a detail that always catches a Dodgers front office's eye. In AAA, this kid became a different player. With Toronto's affiliate, he started off slow, a .195 batting average, and an OPS of .501. But when he arrived in Oklahoma City, the Dodgers AAA affiliate, something changed. In 27 games, he hit .330 with an OPS of .857. A leap that shows sometimes a player just needs the right environment to flourish. And here lies the question fans ask. If he was doing so well in AAA, why let him go now? The answer is more complex than it seems. Because in the middle of this chaotic scenario, with Kopech on the injured list for 60 days, Roki Sasaki, Blake Snell, Gonsolin, Evan Phillips, and Gratterall also recovering, management has to make tough decisions. Every roster spot is fought over like gold. Every dollar counts. And that's exactly why Barroa became trade bait for cash. Money that helps keep the machine running, paying for targeted reinforcements, and managing the payroll when someone like Glasnow, who just returned to the mound after months off, needs to be activated. Meanwhile, the Milwaukee Brewers make their move. To open space, they designated right-handed pitcher Elvin Rodriguez. Rodriguez was in the minors, so Barroa will likely follow the same path. AAA for now, at least initially. And here's another detail sharp-eyed fans notice. Barroa isn't the type of player who's going to burst into the major leagues breaking down doors. but he represents depth, flexibility, that utility piece that can be useful when the season tightens up, and who knows what might happen if he really hits his stride. Baseball is full of unlikely comebacks, and if we look back a little, it gets even more interesting to see how Barroa's fate intertwines with a mess that is managing a roster like the Dodgers. Remember, this is already his second trade just in 2024. In May, he left Toronto and came to Los Angeles. At the time, it seemed like just a depth move, but he quickly showed his worth in Oklahoma City. And now, once again, he's packing his bags. It's the life of someone trying to find a place in the sun in the most competitive league in the world. Outsiders don't always understand, but every up and down between AAA and MLB messes with any athlete's mindset. And the Dodgers, for better or worse, are known for making this backstage dance all the time. That's why it's no exaggeration to say that even a quiet trade like this has its impact. Maybe Barroa will never become an all-star, but he symbolizes a philosophy that nothing in this roster is static, that every detail counts, that every spot on the 40-man roster can be the piece that decides a series in October. And if it's not Barroa, it could be another kid from AAA, or someone coming back from injury, or maybe a targeted signing with the money coming from trades like this. Meanwhile, the reality in the locker room remains tough. Michael Kopech, one of the most promising pieces on a mound, is out for at least 2 months. The rotation, which already has big names in the infirmary, remains vulnerable. Tyler Glasnow returns today to try to provide relief. Blake Trinan has started his rehab. Teoscar Hernandez and Tommy Edman are on their way back. But Dodgers fans know it's still far from an ideal scenario. And every cut, every trade, every dollar received is also a message. The team won't stand still watching chances slip away. That's why this video is here to remind you, fan, that everything is part of a bigger puzzle. When you see a headline saying, Dodgers trade outfielder for cash, remember that it's not just accounting. It's depth, it's planning. It's the culture of a franchise that never stops turning. It's the essence of a team that always prepares for October, even if that means giving up promising pieces today. So here's what I want you to do. Comment below. Would you have kept Barroa, believing in the potential he showed in Oklahoma City? Or do you think it makes sense to open space for someone who can contribute now? In the struggling rotation? I want to hear your opinion, because those who are part of the Blue Nation know every voice counts. Every analysis makes a difference. News number 3. Dodgers reportedly not interested in $260 million Cardinals All-Star. Have you ever stopped to think about the weight of a single decision? For Dodgers fans, every trade deadline is a reminder that being a baseball giant isn't just about stacking stars in the lineup. It's about having the courage to choose where to invest every cent, and where to say no, even if it breaks the heart of anyone who dreams big. And today, as the clock ticks toward the trade deadline, the question echoing to the halls of Los Angeles is this: is it worth chasing a superstar third baseman? Or is it time to take care of the mound before the season slips through their fingers? Because from the outside, you see one of the most powerful rosters in MLB, with an offense that can strike fear into any opposing rotation. But those following closely know this team is paying a high, very high price for everyone clawed out through pain. The pitching staff has turned into a battlefield. One starter goes down, another tries to hold the line, and the cycle repeats. Blake Snell, Tony Gonsolin, Gavin Stone, Roki Sasaki, all names that, when healthy, would make this rotation look unstoppable. Today, there are just more names on the injured list that make fans hold their breath with every medical update. And in this chaotic context, a name that keeps coming up whenever reinforcements are discussed appears again: Nolan Arenado, a defensive monster, 10 gold gloves, a respected clubhouse presence. And it's not the first time this possibility has circled Dodgers fans' imaginations. Go back to 2023, when the Cardinals were flirting with a full sell-off. Many thought Arenado would land in Los Angeles, ready to add that elite touch at third base. But it didn't happen. St. Louis chose to hold on to the contract, trust the star, and move on. And the Dodgers front office? They stuck to their plan, waiting for the right moment to act. Now, with the rotation bleeding and the lineup mostly set, the question returns. Is it worth bringing in Arenado? Jim Bowden of The Athletic got straight to the point. No. The Dodgers say no because they're not taking on Arenado's contract at this point in his career, and they are happy with Max Muncy. Bowden wrote. A short sentence, but it says it all. Max Muncy, even sidelined with bone bruise, is still the guy they trust at third base. He doesn't have Arenado's golden glove, but he makes up for it with a bat that, on a good day, can change a game single-handedly. And the expectation is clear. Muncy will be back before the end of the regular season. He'll be back in time for October, when it really matters. And then you stop to think about what's at stake. Arenado isn't just a player. He's a contract. It's $74 million from now until 2027. For a team already carrying heavy contracts, every dollar needs to make sense, especially when the offense isn't the main hole to fill. The problem is on the mound, where every healthy arm is worth gold. And if we're honest, as spectacular as Arenado's defense is, his bat no longer strikes the same fear it once did. A .244 average, .692 OPS, 10 home runs, 41 RBIs, decent production, but not the impact that justifies passing up reinforcements where the house is really on fire. Meanwhile, the rotation is trying to survive. Ohtani, even without pitching this year as a regular starter, continues to carry the offense. The hope is that guys like Glasnow, who just returned, can stay healthy, and that every player on the IL comes back ready. Because the way things are, it's impossible not to ask, how many more injuries can this rotation withstand? Those who remember recent playoff runs know. When the Dodgers go deep in October, it's because they have pitching depth. That's what holds up every inning, every 7-game series. That's what separates a ring dream from an early exit. That's why every rumor about third base ends up buried by practical reality. There's no point in having a star-studded lineup if you don't have someone to take the mound and dominate the strike zone when it matters most. And for those wondering if the front office will just sit back, the answer is between the lines. No. This franchise doesn't stand still watching opportunities pass by. If they have to give up prospects, money, or make targeted moves, they will. But every piece has to fit into the bigger puzzle. And today, that puzzle is screaming for pitchers, not another glove at third base. And look at the weight of all this. The fan base, of course, is divided. Some believe Arenado still has plenty left in the tank, that a change of scenery could reignite his bat, that wearing Dodger blue would spark something new. But there are also those who support the cold vision. It's better to bet on keeping Muncy healthy, giving reps to players who already know the Dodgers culture, and directing every cent to strengthen the weakest link, the mound. And the truth is, in the middle of all this, there's the most beautiful point of this whole story. Dodgers fans never stop believing. With every medical update, every rumor denied, every piece of gossip that pops up on Twitter and dies the next day, there's one certainty that can't be injured. This fan base will hold its breath until final strike in October. Because that's what the Blue Nation does. We push, we suffer, but we never turn our backs. So now I want to hear from you. What would you do if you were Friedman sitting in that hot seat? Do you bring in Arenado anyway? Betting on a turnaround? Or do you hold on to that money? Use every cent to hunt down a high-impact pitcher, someone who comes in to immediately transform the rotation? Write it down below. I want to read every opinion, because here there's no small voice. Here every fan is part of the engine. And don't forget, leave your like if you're one of those who won't sleep until you see this team whole, healthy, ready for October. Subscribe to the channel now. Hit the notification bell, because every trade, every return, every rumor confirmed or debunked, I'll bring it to you right away. Because here we're Blue Nation in body and soul, and no one lets go of anyone's hand. And remember one thing, it doesn't matter if the name of the reinforcement is huge or low-key. What matters is that every right piece can be the spark that makes this machine run the way we all know it can. Because in Los Angeles, faith never goes on the injured list. See you in the next video. Get ready. The deadline is here. The mound needs arms, and every detail could decide the story. LA forever.